Oh, okay.
All
Yep,
right, we
we're
are
live.
live officially. Okay. Welcome to the second edition of Sense8 Symposium. And as you can tell, it's interesting. Well, Claudia, why don't you tell us where you are and where the noise is coming from?
I had to be in this today. I'm at a water park with my kids, and I
Oh,
have to be
nice.
here today. So that's the noise that you guys hear. I'm just happy to be here. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I am from New Jersey, actually. So my name is Claudia, and I'm a
All right.
Sensi.
We should all be like, "Hi, Claudia." All right. And as some of you may know, I'm Evan Morgan, broadcasting from Honolulu, Hawaii. And Belinda, why don't you tell us where you're broadcasting from?
Bonsoir, my name is Belinda, and I am from France, and I am a Sensi.
Oh,
And nobody can hear me.
no, we're still going.
Sorry, I'm still trying to help Petrol join through Messenger.
All right, Melissa, why don't you? I don't know if Belinda's having some issues, but
Yes. Well, shall I go? Hello, I'm Melissa and I'm in England. Just sitting in my very dark bedroom, hoping people can see me okay.
yeah, we see you fine. It's looking good, looking good. All right, so Claudia might stay with us. Why don't you lead us in with well, the renewal news for one.
I'm having trouble hearing. What's happening?
I don't know if you can hear me.
The connections are breaking up. Does anybody else have somebody ringing them, a different video call? Yeah, that's Hetal.
Okay, you guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
No, it's breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Wait, hold on.
I can hear you now, yes.
Experiencing.
Thank you. Okay, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I had to mute Claudia for a bit because it was too noisy. Everything. So
I
Oh,
guess
right.
what happened, because I could hear you repeating the same questions over and over. I thought, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I introduced myself, right? You heard me that. You heard that part.
I didn't hear much for a few minutes.
Okay. Je suis Belinda.
okay.
Mais je suis sensitif.
Yeah,
Okay, I think she's talking, but she might be muted.
I heard it, most of it.
Oh God, I can't believe it.
But I still have Hetal in Messenger saying she has a black screen with the Google Hangout logo when she follows that link and nothing else. And she's sort of getting in a team.
Can you guys hear me at all, or okay? It's still working on my end too. Okay.
I can hear you,
Just
but
making
the
sure.
image is a bit
I can't hear you.
Oh wait, so you can or cannot hear me?
I can hear you, but the image has broken up a bit.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't hear Belinda then.
All right, so we're experiencing some technical difficulties.
Really?
The joy of live broadcasting.
Yes.
And then I muted Claudia because it was really noisy, but now I can't figure out how to unmute her.
Isn't there a button at the top, a little pop-up bar that comes up?
Let's try that. That might mute me, but
it might. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
That mutes me.
Right.
So for any viewers out there, we apologize for these technical difficulties and unforeseen complications, but we're going to try to keep plugging away here. All right then, so Claudia is falling off the call. But why don't we just get your reaction, since you guys are here, about how did you first hear about the renewal and what was your first thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was away when it happened. I'd been in front of my PC the whole day, and then I went away for a few hours, and when I came back, it had just happened. I saw the video. It was great. Exciting. But, well, I'm a bit tired now. It's just, you know, the aftershock of what happened. But
Yeah,
delighted.
all the constant tweeting, right? Yeah.
Yes, constant tweeting.
I was
think
asleep
I
as well,
was
but did we
Oh,
end
yeah.
up trending at all, or?
Yep, actually we did, worldwide. But I think, I don't know, Ethel was supposed to talk about that, I guess.
Yeah, she's still trying to join, and it's getting ridiculous. I'm trying to chat in the window and talk to you guys at the same time, and I don't know quite what to suggest.
Maybe pray to Ganesha.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Or ask Netflix.
Yeah, tweet at Netflix. Talk to them. They're like, "What's wrong with these Hangouts? You guys, give us some tips."
Well, we've got the best host now. We need the best guests. That's the problem.
Well,
Yes. Exactly.
the thing is, we have the best guests. We just gotta get them here.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't want to do something.
Claudia says that she'll be just be watching because there is too much noise where she is. So it looks like she won't be joining us again this time.
Okay.
Cheers, santé. Santé, honneur et sexe à toute heure.
I
We need
recognise
Da
that from
Vinci's
last
balls
week.
for that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's try to move it along here a little bit. How about you were a little bit more about the trending party, maybe, and some stuff about more about Sense8 International fans. Anything you'd like to add in that regard?
Me?
Yes.
Chloe's not here. Chloe's always.
We have a small pool today, so we're going to be each talking a little bit more probably than we might like or we're used to. So be warned.
Thank you. Great. I was supposed to let others talk today. It's been a busy day. I've been doing GIFs and pics and preparing it all day. We had hints that it was going to be renewed, and we got the announcement today. We were really happy about it. And now it's just weird because we've been waiting for so long for it, and now it's just a relief. And now I'm going to relax until June, and we're so happy about it. But the trending party was really, really great. All the fan groups joined in, and we shared with everyone. The cast members retweeted, and the video. Did you all see the video they sent us?
Yes, I finally did see that. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really great. Donna was really good. I mean, she was so, yay, it's been renewed, see you next year.
It's like,
She
coming
was,
back for season 2.
she was in Paris, people. She was in Paris.
Yeah.
Really great to see that. All of
That
them
was
have
that was the Eiffel Tower in the background, right?
It was, yeah.
Okay, I was like, it's like a postcard picture going on there, you know.
Mm.
That was pretty
We
cool.
were all there, really happy. I wonder who organized it, because I was the last one speaking, and I watched it many times. I thought, well, you might want to, to organize that kind of things, because it's really to social media. And he might have done it just to show the fans, because he's really close to his fans. It was really nice to see them all.
Yeah.
It's not
What do you think?
maybe he'd organised it, yeah.
Yeah, with his little Cassie. Go on.
Oh, she's
So cute.
lovely.
Yeah. On the both lovely.
Did you?
Yes, although Cassie didn't care.
No,
Yeah.
Sorry, carry
It's
on.
like,
Daddy's gonna be away on a plane again. Oh no.
she's like, "Oh, I'm still gonna be a dog either way.
Exactly, she just didn't care.
We'll have to take a plane again. No.
Would you say?
So where was it? Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I've been asking all the questions so far. So.
Because we were talking about plane, I was talking about planes, and he's going to fly away again. So where will they go next season?
That's a good question.
Where will they start shooting? In Iceland, Germany, London?
That's true, because I mean, technically they're on open water, so they weren't really on any particular land. You know, I guess it depends where Sven takes them.
We'll
Well,
see.
the thing while they're at sea is there are no landmarks anywhere that Whispers could recognise through Will to know where they are. So at the moment, out in the open sea is the safest place.
That's true, yeah. Unless
Can't stay there forever.
unless the hazmat suits, they trade the hazmat suits for like scuba gear or something. But other than that, they should be fine.
Oh, poor Will. He will not be able to survive that. He's too weak at the moment.
Yeah. It's like as soon as you wake up, there you go back to sleep.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's horrible. Just a kiss and then go back to sleep, like a prince.
Yeah, it's like it's like the reverse Snow White or Sleeping Beauty, right? You know, it's kind of it's interesting that.
But I did, wonder about Carla. Would they perhaps head Indiawards because they might need her help with drugs for Will next season? That is one possibility that's been suggested a few times online.
That's right. And Wolfie talked about that as well. He wanted to go to he wanted to escape Berlin and go to India, so they might all join in India, Mumbai. And
although sorry, carry on. I was just thinking that after he told Carla she had to marry Rajan, is he still going to think he should go to India, or is he going to sort of resist for a while and think he shouldn't be contaminating her life?
All depends on Felix, doesn't it? I don't know.
It does largely, yeah.
If Felix passes away, unfortunately, touch wood, let's hope he'll survive and he'll be back for season 2. If he wants to go away because he wants to forget, or if he wants to stay with his buddy, I don't know.
Well, they might both go.
They might both go to India. And I don't know if it's there to escape anymore. They're all dead, aren't they?
Well, we assume so, but you never know. There could be some that got away.
That's right, yeah.
The main players were dead. The aunt, of course, yeah.
But I do feel like Felix for Wolfie is kind of like Capheus' mother for Capheus. Like, it's his kind of barometer for, not really dependent on for life purposes, but I feel like if Felix somehow doesn't pull through, Wolfgang's just going to go like full dark. And that would probably be a very bad thing.
That's what Amel told you, Evan, in the interview, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened to Amel? We don't know what will happen to his mother, but what would happen to Amel if his mother passes? What would he do? Where would he go? India as well?
Yeah.
Or Korea to save son? Interesting.
Possibilities.
And Naomi and Amanita might be safe for a while because of the sort of fake reports of going to Australia that Naomi put out there, but eventually someone's going to figure out that they might still be in San Francisco and they might have to move on. I can't see if that ploy will work forever. So where will they go?
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, and plus you gotta figure people would think, oh, she's a hacker. Of course she would bolo herself with someone else's badge number.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't
exactly.
do that, you know?
It's going to come out at some point.
It seems like you can only hide in plain sight for so long.
And Will was suspended as well. So he's no longer a police officer. He was suspended.
I mean, that badge number, they'll trace it back and think, ah. So of course it will be suspicious.
So many possibilities for us to, and we still don't know. They'll surprise us, I guess.
Probably. It's an old adage, isn't there, about giving the audience what they want, but in a way they don't expect.
Yes.
Hopefully they will manage to do that so that they don't disappoint us. We get roughly the direction we're hoping for, but they will throw some surprises in there for us as well.
Yeah, but I do feel like too, if any show is capable of that, it's definitely this one.
Exactly.
Because
with what they did in season 1, I guess this WhatsApp song, the demon song. So I talk about songs. So let's talk about songs.
And emotions.
Emotions I felt were so overwhelming. Okay, let's have a cigarette.
All right. Well, we'll have share in the collective experience, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a memory, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you feel
That's
it?
exactly. You drink that wine and we'll get drunk.
Sounds like a plan.
It does. So,
season 2.
We're going to speculate any more about where they might be going, not just in terms of physical locations, but maybe in terms of the plot lines they still have open.
Yeah, I would imagine that Capheus and Kabaka are going to have like some kind of overlord underworld Nairobi gang boss action going on, it seems like. Because obviously Kabaka owes Capheus a debt for what he did, so I'm interested to see how that relationship goes. And we talked about in the interview I did, basically was that in the show, it's not a clear-cut good or evil. There's always a gray area that all these characters kind of operate with or operate under. And so we kind of see that even though Kabaka, on one hand, he can chop your hands off if you double-cross him. On the other hand, in the next room, he could have his daughter with the party. So it's like it's a very much of a duality of character going on. So I'd be interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, they won't just have him disappear off the scene. They've set it up for a lot more, perhaps in a slightly different direction, as you say, now that he owes Capheus this debt for saving his life and his daughter's. But, I mean, did all of the superpower gang actually get taken care of in that episode? Or are some of them hanging around and going to be coming back for a bit of revenge? That's the other thing.
Oh, we know for a fact that there was that one creepy lady, Van Dam.
Yes, her.
Van Dam. I was like, oh my God, that's she scared me more than the we are the superpower, that guy. So I think I prefer that guy to her because she was pretty creepy.
Yeah. I think it was cool as she looked at him and said, Van Dam. Yeah, now we can respect it.
Yeah, after you kill a whole horde of machete-wielding people, you got your street cred after that.
I'm curious though. I've heard this mentioned elsewhere, but Capheus and Sun, by extension, because she was really doing the majority of the fighting there, I assume neither of them have killed anyone before that episode, unless it was purely by accident. And are we going to actually see any fallout from that? It didn't really have time to ask whether it would affect them or not with everything else going on. But surely at some point They need to address what sort of effects that will have on them.
That's an interesting point too, because I feel the same way with the way that Kala helped Wolfgang basically build a bomb
Yes.
and kill those gangsters. Like for Wolfie, he'll brush it off. He's like, oh, I do that. That's what I do. No problem. But for her, I don't feel like she's going to be able to process that quite as easily. That
Not
she
at
just
all.
collectively murdered people. So
No.
it should be interesting to see how that dynamic works out.
It sort of spreads out quite widely, and you could say the same thing with Will letting Wolfgang take control of the ambulance and the possibility that it would crash the helicopter and kill anyone in it. Of course, Whispers was daring him, saying, you're not a killer, you won't do it. And he says, I know someone who will, and Wolfgang steps in. But surely by allowing Wolfgang to take control at that point, it's as good as doing it himself. Luckily, the helicopter didn't crash, but it could have.
Yeah. And I guess it brings up the question of like how much of an active participant technically are you, or how much can you claim that you're just a bystander when you're technically all one being, you know what I mean? So there's
Very much so.
Everyone will have to take blame or praise or credit no matter what happens.
Exactly, it's a ripple effect really. It's going to affect all of them at some point, even the ones perhaps that haven't actively participated in any violence so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Good point.
Oh dear, we're going to have to talk more, guys. It's just us.
Would you like to add?
I don't know what to add after what you said. It's so good. Very true. I remember Will is ready to defend himself and to defend the people he loves, but he won't hurt innocent people.
No.
That's very important. Whereas Wolfie's, well, it's not really important. Well, he doesn't have that. I can't think anymore. That side of him.
No.
Sorry.
It's been a long day.
It has been, yes, definitely. And there's only 3 of them. Come on, today I thought, easier for me.
And speaking of that, people have mentioned before, like, oh, Wolfgang is just a psychopath. He's just a cold-blooded killer. But I would say that people like Steiner are more like the cold-blooded killers. People like his uncle. Whereas even though Wolfie can turn that part of him on to like cold-bloodedly kill people when he needs to, at the same time he doesn't do it for like any kind of joy or any kind of satisfaction in that sense. He's doing it to protect other people. So in that sense, I think it does separate him from your run-of-the-mill psychopath murderer.
And largely, I mean, especially with Steiner, it was all about monetary gain. He wanted those diamonds. The uncle was very much backing up that play. I don't get the impression that Wolfgang really cares at all about accruing wealth, or he wouldn't go in just killing people for a bunch of diamonds at the end of the day. It has to be something far more important than that to actually switch that part of him on.
And it seems that he was bullied all his childhood by his cousin. And I don't know, he's just grown out of it and wants revenge from him and his family. I don't know.
Yeah.
And even for him, it was never about the diamonds. It was always about, can I crack this S&D safe,
Yeah.
It was about getting one over on them, really, wasn't it? All of them.
And he did.
Yes, he did.
And he didn't even take credit for it. He could have, because, well, I did it. My father couldn't do it, but he never said it. We knew it, but only Felix and I.
And of course, that's when Lita.
I'm getting messages from Hetal again. She says she's still sitting there already with no invite.
I don't know why. I don't know why she's not showing up whenever
I keep getting incoming calls from her, and of course they're a separate call. They're not for this one.
Wait, let me try again.
We do
While
need
you
more
guys can
people
continue
in here.
to talk amongst yourselves.
Well, we're going to run out of steam really quick.
Oh, but we
Well, I
can
think
talk about
in this-
Brian's group, Mel, if you like.
Yeah,
So
we
what?
can.
Yeah, go for it.
What was posted today? Did you see anything interesting?
Well, it's been a busy day for a lot of people today, but obviously
think-
the video was a big talking point
Yeah,
with the Twitter video.
like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
People were crazy. Just posted it, and yeah, it was posted. Oh, really? I didn't know. Whatever.
We don't get into in-depth discussions often.
I think all the fandom saw it.
I think
Many.
so. Okay, Belkis is trying to join now too and can't get in.
I invited both of her names, so I don't know why that wouldn't work. Let me see.
Let me just reply to them and tell them that you're looking again.
Should I talk to myself? Hi, everybody.
I just had to put a message in there quick, Belinda, sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Deal with your
Okay.
technical problems.
Since I have my iPad next to me, as well as my laptop, I can do both, just about.
I just sent Belkis both invites on both of her names that came up on my feed thing, so
Okay.
hopefully one of the two will work.
Well, I've told them that you've sent the invite. Just need to wait and see if either of them do the job.
Oh. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow, people?
No, tell us. Come on. We need something.
Story time.
All day. Yeah, I'm going to sleep all day. And dream of Sense8. I'll be in Paris with Donna.
Oh, yeah, you might run into her.
Yeah.
Big place, probably not.
What's she doing here?
Maybe filming something in between, or
Could be.
know.
So that means they haven't started yet, so they have to start as soon as possible because we want season 2 in June, right?
Yeah, we don't want any pushback dates. We want it exactly in the beginning of June, no exceptions.
Yeah, the 5th or maybe the 6th, but that's it. But otherwise,
Yeah.
Well, Brian's been filming this this movie as well, hasn't he? The Passing Season. I don't know if that's finished yet either.
yes, it is. Yeah, they are in post-production now.
Oh, that's good. That's finished. I didn't think
It was
that long.
it was in Quebec this week for Quantico because it will be appearing in the what's the first episode? The name? How do you call that? The first episode, the show.
A pilot.
Pilot.
The pilot. Thank you. So it was there for Quantico, so finishing up some stuff, I guess. And soon maybe starting with Sense8. Sense8 2.
And I know Amel was in the middle of filming some stuff as well. I don't know how far along those projects are, but he was eager to work with the W's and J. Michael again, so I think he'll be on the first plane out as soon as they're like, okay, we need you to be here now. I'll be like, okay.
Well, they have to get some scripts down. I know they had a lot of notes, and there's an awful lot of pre-production stuff to do too. So,
but we heard the announcement today, but I guess they knew before a long time.
Oh, they did.
We did.
It was obvious.
Production was underway for a long time. I guess. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a fan, telling everyone.
That's all we are. We're all just fans.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I don't know anything else.
But okay, why don't we do with the original plan then, since we're probably gonna have time to do that. Let's delve into episode 1, Limbic Resonance. Did you get to rewatch it, Belinda?
I for the first 5 minutes, sorry, then I fell asleep. Today was yeah. I saw it like
That's a
so
great advert.
I can tell you what was amazing, because when I saw the title it said Sense8, so I knew there were 8 characters. So from the beginning, after the birthing scene, I just wanted to see, so who are those 8 characters? So and you see slowly throughout the episode each character being visited by Dario Hannah, and you see and you say, okay, that's the first one. Who is he and who is she? Where is she? And it was really exciting to see, because it takes a long time, but I was very patient and I wanted to take as much time as needed, and that's what they did. They didn't rush it in presenting the characters, and that was great. You had to see them all very slowly, introduce the characters very slowly. The first one was, I think, was it Will? No, I'm not sure.
After
I can't.
the credits,
No, I think it was
yes.
Melody. I don't know,
No,
but
you saw
sorry.
you saw glimpses of all of them when Angelica was seeing them. But the first one that we saw after the credits was Will. He was dreaming about Sarah Petrel and then woke up in bed from obviously.
That's right. That's right.
With the pounding DJ's music in his head. Yeah.
Half naked in bed and drew up his gun.
Yes,
That's the
it.
scene.
How to
Yeah, I
forget
remember.
And then there was a quick transition to "Hello, it's your neighbor" to "Hello, it's the police. Open up."
And the headache, and then
But that's the other thing that kind of threw me for a loop with that scene is, like, if you've lived there long enough, wouldn't you realize that it was empty? I mean, it didn't look like anyone was actually living in that apartment when he opened the door. Yeah.
Not where I live. I wouldn't know who my neighbors are. You know, in a big town, you don't always know, and you think maybe there's a new neighbor next door. But what surprised that the door was open, because the door would be locked.
Yes, I thought that. I suppose in a big city you wouldn't always
Let's not
know.
criticize.
No. Maybe the cleaners left it open.
Could be, yeah.
There's probably a reason. We don't want to know. It's not important.
But that actually brings up my notes here that I took yesterday. Basically, we first were introduced to, they weren't, like, for example, with Will waking up, he heard Riley playing DJ music, so it basically had their connection, like, right off the bat. It was kind of like a foreshadowing, right? And then there was Kala in India telling her dad, "Oh, it's raining," but he's like, "Oh, it's not raining," which was Wolfgang's the funeral scene with the downpour. And then there was, what else was there?
Oh,
Hey!
Hello.
It's a miracle.
It's
That's okay. We've had a nightmare.
and Manny's right next to me as my technician.
Oh, right. Hello.
How's it going?
Sorry, guys. Hey, Belinda. Hi. All right.
Oh.
What's happening?
We have a.
So go on, Evan.
Belinda, your face
okay. Anyway. And then, so basically after that, we had Nomi and Lito when he was doing his little action in his trailer, you know.
At least said about that the better.
Yeah. Well, we kind of want to sort of keep it PG, but you know, we're not opposed to certain things. But and then of course there was Sun and Capheus where she with the chicken or the rooster or the hen.
Yes.
That landed on her desk. So, I mean, just looking at that, I thought it was interesting. They were kind of foreshadowing like the strongest connections pair-wise within the cluster, and then all those relationships eventually developed into, I guess, the better connections of the two of the pairs in the whole entire all eight. So I thought that was really interesting.
Mm. And they're sort of opposites if you look at each pair in funny ways. Like with Nomi and Leto, for instance, she is fully accepting and open about her lifestyle now, while he's still trying to hide what he is and the fact that he's gay. So there's a direct opposite there. You've got Will, who's sort of the hero character, if you like, and Riley, who's very much a victim character for the first season. I hope that will change later on. But Sun and Capheus, you have the very somber aspects of Sun, that she takes everything very seriously in life, while Capheus is very happy and optimistic. And Carla and Wolfgang, obviously, you have a total cynic in Wolfgang, and somebody that wants to believe in lots of things that you can't always test with science in Carla. So in a way, the pairs are direct mirrors of each other.
Yeah, that's well said, definitely.
They're all very different. I mean, as I said earlier, they introduced each character very slowly, and we got to know who they were, not in details, but we gathered where they were from, their background, their jobs. We saw Nomi straight away that she was injecting herself with something, so we knew there was something. She was with a woman. I don't know if you realized or you knew that straight away that Leto was gay or not, but there was something. We knew there was something. He was an actor. He was a drama.
Oh, no,
He was really into himself. Each character was very defined straight away, and that's what I loved about the first episodes, that we knew that they were all very different, very specific. You had to see who they were. You want to understand who they were.
Well, and I'm going to jump in here right away. Angelica actually says it. Angelica says, I see them, but it's not so much that she saw an image of them, but we see them as Angelica is seeing them, you know, as with the little traits of their personality showing right away. Capheus is all smiles, and Sun is doing her meditation and her martial arts. So it was a pretty quick introduction that, of course, sort of everything was just rushing. At that point, you had no idea what was going on, and your brain was trying to make sense of things. But now, looking back on it, you see, oh, she sees them. They're there. They're coming into being, which is, you know, another ongoing Wachowskian philosophy element. The whole awakening, the whole sense of coming into being, of not being awake before that. So, yeah.
By all means, you can talk some more, because we've been going back and forth before you got here. So
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to hog the mic.
Oh no, we need perspective at this point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm happy that I was able to come up with the term Wachowskian philosophy, because last time we were thinking Wachowskism and Wachowski whatever, and so but yes, you know, like if you compare it with any of their other productions, you see the same. It's sort of like a pervasive theme, you know, that that we are not aware, and that the awakening is not the awakening that you sort of expect after reading Hinduism and Buddhism, and even like certain elements of Christian philosophy. It's not this beautiful spiritual awakening. It's a rude awakening, but once you actually choose to wake up, once you actually choose to become aware, you would not go back. You would not have it any other way, because you actually feel you actually are and feel yourself coming to existence. So I find that very interesting. Oh, by the way, I made a new cocktail. I know that you guys are probably already celebrated.
Nice.
I called it a sense of delight. So I'm having like this is my third.
Why don't you break down the recipe for us?
Can you guys taste it? Is it like a memory?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's got a few international elements. It's got some vodka, some mango juice, some grenadine, champagne, and passion fruit juice. So it's very yummy, and it goes down really quickly, which is very dangerous. But I've been celebrating since 10 o'clock in the morning.
But it's a dangerous.
I mean, how did you? I'm sorry that I jumped in so late. How did you guys feel about this great news? I was jumping up and down. I had the toothbrush in my hand, and I was reading, Twitter, and all of a sudden I see this announcement, and I'm just like jumping up and down, and my husband's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" How did you guys feel?
I was the same as you. I was mad. Oh God, I missed it. I went away for a few hours and I missed it. I was mad. And then I watched the video and I was so happy. Made me feel light and okay, finally now I can relax.
Yeah. I know Melissa was sort of like, all right, finally, like we knew this was coming.
We did. I think it's the British character. I'm a cynic. We're very hard to impress.
Yeah, Melissa's like Wolfgang in that sense. She's very hard to impress.
I am.
More difference, I'd say.
I was very happy for the cast. They all looked so excited.
I'm sorry, Belinda, what did you say?
I think she's more like Riley, very quiet, very nice, typical Brit.
Well, I'm the effusive Latina, so
No,
I was jumping up and down and dancing.
French people, you know how we are. French people are arrogant, speak too much. Listen to me, I'm talking. That's French people for you.
And I'm in Hawaii. I was going to say, I'm in Hawaii where we were pretty laid back, so naturally I was asleep when this happened.
I took some rest.
Oh, you missed the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, going back to that, I was watching it. I didn't finish watching the first episode, but to be honest, this is like the 4th or 5th time that I've started watching the series again. And when is season 2 coming? I'm probably going to get to 8 times watching this series. And it's like I'm doing nothing. I'm sitting around just folding laundry. Oh, what can I put on TV? Let's watch Sense8 again. It's just a no-brainer. It's just like So I was going over it and trying to pick out a few things, and something that I find hilarious now is Lito speaking to his penis when Nomi and Amanita are. It's just hilarious because he's he's trying to prepare for this and he's supposed to shoot a priest or something, and then he's just like humping the wall and going, "What are you doing to me?" So I just. At that point, we're all like, what? And Belinda, I agree with you. When my husband and I were watching the show first, we both, during that scene with Lito, we both thought, oh, I think he's gay. We both sort of got that. Yeah, there's something that, So kudos to Miguel Angel for really portraying that so subtly and still getting it across that, there was something going on, that he's convincing himself of who he is, and why would he need to do that,
Who am I? So, Tino El Caído.
I wonder if
I just
that's something
love
Miguel
that. I
Angel
just love
prepares.
that.
I love it. I wonder if he prepares. I wonder if he actually goes pop pop. And yeah,
Can I say something about what?
About what?
Yeah, about Van Damme. Because I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but Van Damme in France, I'm sorry for him, but he's a joke in France. Everybody makes fun of him. He speaks French, but he uses American words when he speaks French because he can't translate. So he says aware all the time, for example. Aware, je suis aware. And in France, well, because he can't translate it into French, so he uses the word because it speaks to him a lot. But it's in France we use it as a joke. People make fun of him, and when I see Leto, it's a bit of a similar kind of actor because his films are not really, they're a bit kind of action movies for guys. He's not very a respected actor, and I think there was a similar sense, like Conan the Barbarian. Well, Schwarzenegger in his earlier movies, it was a joke, wasn't he? Turn, I thought.
you're cutting in and out, so I'm having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, you broke up a tiny bit at the end there.
Sorry.
But I think what are you trying to say? Basically, how Jean-Claude is not necessarily considered a serious actor in that sense, whereas maybe Leto's character is kind of a similar, fills that similar action hero shoot 'em up niche, but not really as considered possibly like a serious actor in the sense that he'd be doing a lot of in-depth roles and things like that.
That's exactly what I meant.
But yet he has Van Damme. Yeah. So does Van Damme. I mean, it is here in America. He is a joke now. In the 80s, it was very popular. In the 90s, it was very popular. And my father is just like Cafius. My father will not turn the channel if there's a Van Damme movie on. He will sit and watch it. And
so will I, actually.
And they're so terribly bad, but they're good, you know? It's so bad. It's so cheesy. The action is just so preposterous. But it's fun. And I think that's basically what's going on with Leto as well. I wonder if in Africa he's still he is a hero, you know. I wonder if in Africa he's still like an action hero. He's not a joke.
Possibly.
The same way that Cafius considers him.
I heard somewhere that
Cafius considers him the original idol. Yes. I read it too, that the Wachowskis are big fans of Van Damme.
Yeah.
I did. And The Matrix has a lot of preposterous action scenes, it does, but it revolutionized the film industry, and this scene with Leto was also like a way to poke fun at themselves for that. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's some sort of respect towards the action just for the sake of action, you know?
Muscles from Brussels never die.
Santé bonheur. Belinda.
Sex à toute heure. But why did they choose Van Damme?
I thought possibly the play on the name with the bus. They had Bat Van and Van Damme. A bus and a van, similar.
I kind of thought maybe they were going for the notion that we would probably think it's absurd, so they kind of went with that.
Yeah,
like
that too.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, but it kind of worked because we like we were saying, here in America, we wouldn't think of Van Damme so highly, at least not anymore. But it was interesting that, but they're like, yes, Van Damme is like the pinnacle of all things that anyone should aspire to be, you know? So that dynamic was really interesting. It's like they're almost stuck in the 80s in that sense.
Right.
And of course, Mundi spoke about Wonder Woman as well, and that's very much an outdated superhero concept in a lot of ways too. So
Right.
perhaps that is it, that they're very childlike in a way, and these characters still have that sort of excitement at things we've perhaps grown a bit cynical about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, they also they misspelled it, and I don't know if, I mean, obviously none of the things that they do are accidental. I
Mhm.
wonder if they misspelled it, one, to show that it is not, the first language of the people of Nairobi, and two, because it was just so great after that action scene when you see Capheus having just been, taken over by Sun and kicked ass, and then you see the damn right behind them. And I mean, if you caught it, it was just great. And like, wow, look at that. It says damn, which is what everybody was
Yeah,
saying
like,
right after that.
damn.
Damn. Acting
Yeah.
back.
And we talked about it a little bit earlier, but
So,
Belkis, what did you think about the he is Van Damme, that that crazy-eyed lady at the end after his scene where he basically dismantled the whole superpower, and there's the one lady on the perch just like Van Damme.
which one? The little old lady that needed her ring?
Right.
Ring?
The girlfriend of the superpower leader, I think she was, sort of in a mini skirt and funny knots in her hair, very slim.
Like in a warehouse, part
Yeah.
of the superpower.
I
Okay.
did not remember that.
Oh, there goes the entire question. That's okay. Let's
just-
do that to the-
Never
Do
mind.
it. You can edit that. You can edit that. Sorry.
Supposed to be the first episode today.
Yeah, that's
Listen,
true.
I just it's just so much information, so much to process. I don't.
Information overload. But okay.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of the first episode, I gotta ask this question. What was your first impression of Nyx?
Good question.
Next. I thought he was pretty sleazy and douchebaggy looking.
Same as you. I agree totally.
I think
I
I've
think-
seen that actor in things before here, and at the back of my mind I have it that he's always played those kind of roles.
He just has that look, huh?
Yeah,
think
perhaps I
women
think
can
that
feel
influenced me.
I think
Yeah.
women can sense that compared to, and we can see that he's he's not honest.
Yeah. I mean, I also didn't get an honest vibe from her friends. But I think that looking Bailey was not actually living. She was sort of like keeping these odd hours and just doing anything to get away from her real life, which was back in Iceland. So this guy, even though he does come across as pretty deep, and he introduces the term limbic resonance, and talks about what it means and what it could be, and sort of introduces the thought itself. I did not get a good vibe from him from the very beginning. I just thought, okay, this guy's trouble. This guy is just, why is he looking at her so intensely? Why does he? I'm actually thinking that he may be involved with BPO. I wonder if there may be a link between the pharmaceutical company that Kala works at, the people that are dealing in the pharmaceuticals, both ones in Nairobi, the people that are scamming people in Sun's company. I wonder if there may actually be a link, because why would they cut from one part that's talking about the medicine and the pharmaceuticals to the other, and then this guy actually mentions that this drug makes people relive their birth. Like, it's so intense that it will actually make you relive your birth, which is exactly what Riley and all the cluster relives later on. I wonder if this drug is just like a way of BPO and all the humans that are sort of hunting sensates to actually be able to obtain that ability again, to sort of like be able
Well,
to connect again.
I was speaking to a friend of mine this week that I actually got watching
I'm sorry?
Sense8, and she loved it. I introduced a friend of mine to Sense8 this week, and after the first episode, she came rushing in saying, "Oh, they're using DMT. My husband used that a few times in the past," and she'd researched the drug because of her husband using it. And it turns out that it actually does exactly what they said in the episode. It is something that's present in all living things naturally. Um, you can create a chemical version like they used in the episode. And apparently it's been used for millennium by tribes to create something like a near-death experience. They call it the gateway. You get this white light like Riley sees. And following that, they all have a very personal experience. They might witness something in their past, or they might see a vision of the afterlife, or travel outside of their bodies like Riley does. I was
Is
absolutely stunned at the research.
It's interesting, and it's amazing that Riley and Will were the first to connect that deeply, actually.
Yes.
As maybe that was because of the DMT as well. Although Will, no, I don't think, but Will doesn't use any drugs, or didn't.
no, he doesn't. He just gets high on keeping that shit tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Shit, tight, man. Push it out. Push that out.
But I wonder what drives. Sorry, I'm such a. I wonder
Right in the
what tribes do use the DMT. I've heard of the ayahuasca, which is
Yeah.
popular in the Amazon in South America, and they are supposed to, like, the way they describe it, they would just draw the mandalas, the different, like, dimensions that you're able to see if you become aware, and they have this near life or near death experiences as well. I wonder if that's the same one or if it's another tribe that actually has used the DMT.
They did give me a few names, but they were so long and sort of strange. I can't remember them. I couldn't pronounce them. They were sort of great big long strings of letters, and I thought, no, give up. You can't.
I think they're. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I'd finished.
Oh, I was just gonna say they're basically different strains of the same thing, essentially. Like, if you do go on the Amazon, that's all like natural chemical reactions between the naturally occurring plants that produces the effect. Whereas, I don't know, wherever this street level type that Nick's had might be a little slightly different composition, but essentially the same thing. Yeah.
And almost certainly is connected with BPO and the various pharmaceutical links we've seen throughout the series. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Everything's connected.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name?
I know. Look.
Her name.
What?
Her name.
Oh, it's adorable.
It's lovely. Enough of that.
So,
Her name is Kitty.
I was gonna ask if you named him Brian, but I guess not.
No, she's an old cat now. She's 14. I didn't know Brian then.
Scary.
Yeah, she's old that time. So
it's
11 o'clock.
we were talking about the whole situation with Riley, and what did you guys really think that it is such a bad thing for people that okay, here's where I'm going with this. First, let me tell you this.
Okay.
In Greek mythology, there's a myth, and it's been so long since I last read it, but apparently people are Greek mythology used to believe that people are born sharing one soul. And this is where the term of the soulmates came from.
The other half. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and it would be one and one, but every now and again you would get three, two males or two females or two males and a female or whatever, which is very Danny Lito Hernando. But that people were too powerful or something like that. Something happened in which the gods decided to split them and scatter them across the world. And once they were scattered, they were sort of condemned or had this drive to find each other and be united again, which is like a very beautiful a very beautiful way to sort of explain the belief in soulmates or the dream of soulmates. But I think it applies quite well not in this situation, especially when it comes to Riley and Will and Kala and Wolfgang, to just sort of like think of the entire cluster as a part of the whole. They took their first breath together. And would it? This is why I don't trust Ursa. Is it really that bad to love somebody that understands you on a deeper level, on a level that you don't have to explain your emotions, you don't have to tell them exactly how you feel or what you're thinking. It's just sort of like, I know you and I love you and you're part of me. Yes, but is it really narcissism? I mean, I honestly believe that you cannot love somebody else until you love yourself. And that's just the way that it goes. If you can't love yourself and understand that you were born a complete and perfect human being, then you cannot offer love to another. How is it bad that this person is very much like you on the spiritual level or on a mental level, and you love them? I don't see how that's a bad thing or why she would categorize it as such.
Well, if you think of identical twins, I mean, they start out essentially as the same egg or the same embryo. So you could argue that they are the same person at some level, but they still love each other. Often they have a deeper bond than they do with anyone in their entire life. So is that meant to be narcissism as well? I don't trust Issa at all, so I suppose I'm biased.
I don't.
Oh,
I mean,
we
she did help Riley, but why would she just sort of drive her away from Iceland?
Well, if we go back to the first episode, when Whispers says to Angelica, you don't love him, does he know that you don't love him? So in fact, we think and we feel that they love each other. They are really similar to Will and Riley. I'm talking about Jonas and Angelica. And in fact, we know from what Whisper says that no, she doesn't love him. So there's something that happened probably between them two. So even if from what I understand, Jonas and Angelica are from the same cluster, aren't they?
I think so.
Even though she doesn't love him, so there's something that happened, and this we don't know. So something happened between Riley and, I mean, this connection so close to one another. It's not natural. You need to keep some things secrets. You can't. I don't know if it's possible to really share those. I wouldn't say emotions, but those.
But if you follow that through, Angelica must have somehow learnt to hide the fact from Jonas. If Whispers is telling the truth and she doesn't love him, why doesn't he realise that? Angelica must have found some way to at least block out part of the connection.
Or maybe she found a way to lie to Whispers.
Yeah.
She found a way to convince him that she doesn't love Jonas, to sort of save us from capture, from being persecuted. She did say, "I don't want anyone else to die because of me." So I mean, if you want to sort of inquire or go into this a little deeply, I would say that perhaps Jonas and Angelica were the last of our cluster. He does speak about their cluster in the past tense. He says, "You were always the strongest one of all of us," which is in a way also echoes back to Riley. She doesn't believe that she's strong enough, but we can see that she was the strongest. In the end, they all were able to be saved and not followed by Whisper because she put herself together and drove Will away from them. So I'm inclined to believe other. And she just found a way to protect Jonas from Whispers by lying to him.
I've thought quite often
Oh.
just how much can they maybe project a false image to one another if they need to, or block out part of a connection. It's an interesting question. I hope we'll see more of in the future. But certainly in that scene, she has to be doing either one or the other. She's lying to somebody there at the end of the day.
She is.
She can't be telling the truth to both of them.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe lying is what she does, you know.
Well, what she did.
Oh yeah, what? Oh no, she
That's
didn't. What she did.
That's interesting to know that one member of the cluster can lie and hide their own feelings from someone else. That's interesting.
That must be hard. That must be quite hard to have so many people in your head. And it seems like the stronger they get at as sensates, the deeper the connection becomes, and it just sort of flows. You know.
It's quite narcissistic because you can't hide anything. It's just you share it. You share everything. So in fact you block everyone else except you two or you eight. Because you share so much, so that's quite narcissistic in a way. So she wasn't right; she was wrong.
Huh.
I do wonder if perhaps more developed clusters can be more selective in what they share, and the only reason that ours at the moment intrude almost randomly is because they don't know how to control what's happening to them yet. Again, it could go either way.
It's just the first season, right?
So perhaps as it goes on, they'll be able to choose what crosses over and what doesn't a bit better.
But from what Jonas said, he said you feel the rain when it's not raining. You feel pain when you're, I don't know, or what.
Well,
Help me, Bill. What he said.
What?
Remember what?
You feel? Oh, right. Yes. He said you'll feel emotions that you won't understand, and you'll see things. And right after he says that, I believe they. Oh no! I'm sorry, I'm confused. But you sort of like think back at Kala, thinking that it was raining outside, and Lito feeling horny when he's supposed to be concentrating on being a badass, and a scene.
So far they can't help. They can't help what they are feeling. And from what Jonas said, it's not something that you can help. You can choose to feel or not. It's just something that you have to deal with.
You let it happen. You don't make it happen. It's not you let it happen. And I think one of the big things that make this possible is, and it's a huge message of the show as well, is listening without judging. You know, at no point do you see any of these 8 people judging each other. They're just sort of, they're really truly listening to the backstory, the emotions, and everything that's involved in what makes up this person. So Nomi does not judge Lito for not embracing who he is. She just tells him how she felt when she didn't embrace who she was. And Kala doesn't really, judge Wolfgang for being a thief, or he just understands to listen about what made him so loyal towards Felix and not his father. So that's a very important, that's a key element of this connection. If you judge each other, if you detest each other, if you can't embrace or try to just listen without judging to the backstory of each person, then this connection is just torture. You just have this person in your head that's constantly going to be judging you and make you feel bad about the things that you already feel bad about. And that's a big takeaway. And I think that's why it really touches with us senses. It really hits a nerve with us because that's exactly what we like.
But
We right. We try to listen. We try to, we know we're hearing things from people all over the world, and we're
Yeah.
just sort of like, tell me more, let me learn about you. I'm not going to put judgment on this, which is what society as a whole just rushes to do. You know,
Yeah.
the moment that they hear something, well, let me tell you what I think about that. Can you just listen? Just listen to what it is.
and and,
And ask questions.
Yeah,
and this show has reminded us of that, which is great.
I
yeah.
did read an interview with JMS recently where he sort of hinted that our cluster, of course, have this strength that they don't judge each other and they are accepting each other. But is that going to be true of every cluster that there is in the world? It was an interesting sort of hint he was giving that perhaps you could be stuck, as you say, in a cluster with somebody in your head all the time that you just cannot see eye to eye with, that you feel is judging you, or perhaps that you can't help but judge. And I'm very curious to see if we'll see
Yeah.
something like that along the line.
I definitely like to see that as well. For example, like I know we've talked about it before, but I have a feeling that the cop mentality of Will is going to clash with the criminal mentality of Wolfie at some point. Like they're,
Yep.
even though they're working together and we saw them pretty much doing pretty well with that last season, I have a feeling at some point it's going to come up, and it might
Ah,
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I don't know because Will already shows compassion towards criminals,
That's
and
true. That's
and
true.
he's already mentioned that he himself has a dark side. You know, if whether he was at a rebellion against his father or whatever, he had some gangster days when he was younger.
Well, I've
He
been
says
writing this
that. So,
fanfic.
so he's already a little open to, you know, perhaps not condoning, but at least understanding why people do the acts that they do. I love that he was able to say, well, yes, he's a young criminal, but he doesn't deserve to die.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
What did
Sorry.
you think about that whole hospital scene? Like, we can't take him here. You have to take him elsewhere. You know, like, I wonder, does that really happen?
I wonder
Um,
too.
I think I've read somewhere that it does happen. They're building hospitals in Chicago now deliberately without trauma centres. A
Yeah.
lot of the new ones, because that way they are not overburdened with things like gunshot wounds, and they have to be redirected to the older hospitals. I can't remember where I read that, but somewhere.
I read,
I was
I read
actually,
that. I read that as well. Well, they're redirected, but if they come in, they would accept them. Not
yeah,
like the show.
but
They would accept.
no,
You can't.
but they sort of try to discourage them bringing them in by not
They won't
including the
accept him
facilities there. Yeah,
from an ambulance, but they would
yeah,
accept him if they were at the door. They won't let
yeah.
them die breathing outside
No,
or inside the hospital.
That's pretty terrible.
yeah.
That's scary. Yeah. Come to
That's
France. We have great social sometimes. Social security is great.
when every second counts. When every, you know, when people need immediate assistance, to think that they would just be redirected to another place just to protect the hospital's rates, death and morbidity rates. That is pretty scary. And because you could even have people that aren't necessarily criminals. You know, people that just may have been caught in the crossfire,
Yeah. Wrong
and
place.
mm.
sometimes all of a sudden you're taken to the nearest hospital, and this hospital cannot help you. That is quite scary. And maybe that's why the Wachowskis brought it to our attention as well. I mean, they're from Chicago.
They certainly do seem to research things very carefully.
Yes, that's definitely true.
Yeah. Very interesting. I, there's another thing as far as speculations goes. The I remember in the article that JMS um, recently gave, he mentioned something about ask yourself what was Jonas doing in San Francisco why was Whispers going to Chicago? What was I've been asking myself, and I have no idea where they're going with it. Just like everything they've done, I have no clue. What do they mean? Why was he in San Francisco? Was looking for Nomi in San Francisco? Was there something else going on in San Francisco? Well, I guess the doctor was there. Maybe Jonas already knew about that doctor, the one that does the brain operations. That's as far as I can get with it. That's a very cruel tease to give us.
Well, Angelica in Chicago, I thought, why is she in Chicago? And of course, you're obviously meant to think she knows who the cluster are going to be. She's gone there because perhaps that was the nearest city to her that had one of them in it. But that could be misleading us. It could be something else, because obviously Whispers was in that vicinity as well.
Well, he found her.
Wonder who else. Exactly.
He found
it makes
her.
you wonder.
But he found her, I believe, they don't tell you for how long she had been hiding from him.
No.
She had been taking drugs and heroin, I think.
Yeah.
To hide herself from Whispers. But I guess in order to give birth, she had to let go and stop taking the drugs, and that's when he finds her, and that's why she has so little time to give birth at that point.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. She'd run out, but I just assumed it was an accident. Perhaps she deliberately sort of didn't buy any more because, like you say, they had to wean her off it in order to give birth.
Yeah.
I hope we'll know more about that.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe how long has she been hiding? Maybe she had been hiding.
That's another question, yeah.
Maybe she had been hiding from Whispers long enough to just go to Korea and go to Iceland and go to London and go to Chicago and go to San Francisco, Mexico, Nairobi, and just sort of find her cluster, and then at that point give birth. I don't know. Jonas and Angelica obviously had a connection with BPO. Perhaps they went into their file and they have sort of like a database of people that were born at the exact same time on the exact same day, and that they have that's the way they narrow down the possible clusters. That's another way that it could be going.
Would it be plausible to think that maybe, in fact, Jonas and Angelica are the antagonists and Whispers is the one trying to help?
Oh no, I don't believe that. Not for a second.
Possibly be helping.
No. Let me help you by cutting a chunk of your brain out.
Exactly.
No.
I don't know what you think helping means, but it doesn't mean cutting up someone's brain.
I had to bring that one up.
So that I can put on your like a costume. No, not for a second.
He's running.
I could possibly believe that maybe Angelica and Jonas were involved with BPO, and then they realized the extent of the damage they had caused.
Perhaps they were tricked, or
and decided to sort of like concoct a plan to bring down BPO, and that's why our cluster is special, because there are these people that seem like they have nothing special going for them, but then when they work together, it's just amazing the things that they can accomplish. But I'm just so excited. I don't know where they're taking this. I'm just
glad they're taking it somewhere.
I know.
That's fine.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't care where you take it, just go.
I feel
just take us wherever you want. Yeah. Just have to wait for a few more months.
Just make up a ride and take us along for the ride, and I'll be asking what the hell's going on the entire time, and then love every second of it. So it's fine. It's okay. It's good.
It's interesting though. Often with TV shows, I tend to not get too invested deliberately, because I don't trust most writers not to mess it up somewhere along the line. I'm such a cynic and terrible. But I think the reason I've allowed myself to get so involved is I do trust them not to mess this up. They seem to have got everything so right. Yeah.
I think they already have the story down. They already know where they're taking it. It's just a matter of putting in the little details and the dialogue along the lines,
Exactly.
which is beautiful. It's great to know that it's just sort of how I felt with J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter series. She knows where this is going. Okay, just save me for it, just. But that would have been very scary. I agree. And I also think that what differentiates the show is the fact that they're not trying to explain anything to you in the first pilot like every other show does.
Yeah.
They're just, it's all set up and it just feels unnatural. And at one point they actually lose me whenever they do this. The fact that they keep you guessing and you're finding out what's going on at the same time as the rest of the cast is just so magical and so groundbreaking that I mean that's really what has me connected to it, like you, Melissa.
Mm.
Um, you know that I'm invested because I know where it's going. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know where it's going, but I'm enjoying every second of it, and that's what I love about it. But
And just to kind of build on your point, it's like in the interview, it was a couple of days ago, I think, where it was posted, where Daryl Hannah was basically saying that the fandom of this show are intellectually, smarter people. And then, in that sense, I like that they don't try to dumb it down or overly explain. It's kind of forcing us to engage, and forcing us to kind of be active and in our watching experience and to kind of put the pieces together on our own without anyone spoon feeding it to us, which
I
I
love that.
absolutely love that. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you're not assuming that I'm a dum dum sitting in front of the TV because I have nothing better to do. I love that they're respecting her and down for us and just listen. If I had to go research limbic resonance and Melissa's friend went and researched DMT, I mean that's amazing. You're teaching us something, for God's sakes. That's great. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop living. And the fact that this show doesn't just assume that its audience is a bunch of do nothings that just want to sit around the TV and be entertained. It's so stimulating and so different, and it really makes me want to embrace it longer. It does.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah. And look at this amazing connection that
Yep.
we've created.
And I didn't know anything about DMT. I think today I asked you, Mel.
Oh,
You did,
DMT
sorry.
yes.
remind me?
You
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
know anything about what?
DMT.
Oh, DMT. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, remind me. Oh, yeah, I remember the speech, and then
I
I
can't
don't know
take
anything
credit.
about drugs.
Yeah. I've
That's
never
right.
done it, but I know people that have done it. So I mean,
Yeah, right.
Disclaimer.
But-
Disclaimer. I don't know anything about it.
but guarantee after that I watched this show, I put it on my bucket list for sure. I was like, okay, hook me up.
Try it. Yeah, would tell me.
Huh? Yeah, or we can all as a cluster, maybe we'll have like a meet in like a year, and then we can all work it out.
In Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah, of course, in Hawaii. Oh, in New York.
As long as it doesn't make thing, we'll be okay.
As long as what?
As long as it doesn't make me run and jump face first into a volcano,
Yeah.
I think we'll be
I think I
okay.
might be
Yeah.
on too many medications to risk that. I'd probably kill myself.
We couldn't have that. That would be good.
Oh, so this is good. What happened to Atal and what happened to Claudia? What's going on with that?
Well,
Claudia
that's
is at a
something to
water
do.
park.
Mm.
And
then-
And we know about Atal.
Hetzel, none of the links that we sent her seemed to be working for her when
Yeah.
she tried to join the call. We tried and tried and nothing
Um,
worked.
And,
And we
and when
called it, dropped out because it was
and
noisy.
yeah, and whenever I tried to search for Hetal in the invite to broadcast what option, she wasn't showing up on my list at all. So I'm not really
Right.
sure why that would.
so something's going on with that.
Well,
I do love that our little cluster is so international and multi-ethnic. Um, it really. I live in New York City, and that's one of the biggest things that I love about this city. The fact that I could go for Indian food and then go around the corner and have some Italian gelato, and I've always sort of like embraced this entire world and to sort of be connected to people that have some similar thinking and that are so intelligent and so creative and talented as you guys are. And forgive me for being a little narcissistic right now and compliment my cluster. Um, I think it's wonderful and Joe can talk with people in England and France and India, Hawaii, and just sort of feel like we really are right next to each other and that we really are human and part of one race and not really all that different after all. It's quite wonderful.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's not a message that we get enough. Yeah, it's like slow clap. Let's start the slow clap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we can finish on that.
Oh, Belinda, by the way, I've never smoked a cigarette, so can you just take a puff for me
your
so that I
life?
can? In my
Me
life, I've
neither.
never smoked a cigarette.
No way.
No,
Oh
me
my
neither.
God.
So you never
So
smoked
lucky.
a cigarette, huh?
Never start, please. Never start.
Okay, I won't start, but like you look
No.
so sexy doing it. You,
The
what does that taste like? It's like a memory. And then she's scratching her nose. Very nice.
That's what I do. Okay, I'll have to light up.
No.
Can
Don't
we,
light up. Don't light up. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I am. It made me think about it, but I think that was a good one. And thank you all. And I'm
Well, thank you.
going to go to bed now.
Oh, of course,
All right,
it's
well-
not there, isn't it?
Any final thoughts? I think we might end this broadcast actually at this point.
Well, I'm just
think
gonna go
what
pick
Bill
up my
said is great.
maracas and continue dancing, for the rest of the night.
That's a good plan.
And the cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just, I'll go get a refill.
Nice.
Number 4.
It's too early
Who's-
for you.
who's counting?
Electric coffee.
She's gonna get a refill squared, right?
A refill
Yeah, of
square, yes. Just line them up.
They are
1, 2,
for us.
3. I'll drink one for each of you.
I've got another bottle open here if you like. Red wine, anyone?
Nice.
Nice.
Very
No.
nice. Some real French
I
wine.
can't drink.
Oh. It's okay, Melissa. We'll drink for you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm alcohol intolerant.
right,
anyway,
yeah,
but with the pills I'm on, I just die if I drank with them. So trying so much fun. Not.
But I guess, yeah, all right. Thank you guys for joining me again and for another successful broadcast. And for anyone else that either has been watching or wants to watch, this is going to be available on our YouTube channel. And tune in next week as we come back at the same time, 4 p.m. Eastern, to talk a little bit more about Episode 2, along with whatever else comes on in the meantime or any news that we hear. So
Repeat that again, Evan, because you were freezing.
Oh, that's not good. Anyway, what was I saying?
Next week.
Yeah, next week we'll be back at the same time, 4 p.m. Eastern, to talk about Episode 2, along with any other news that we hear from now until then. And yeah, I'd say that's a wrap for us. And remember that you are no longer just you. Thank you for joining us, and good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Au revoir. Aloha.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye, guys.
All right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.